What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily uploads Monday through Friday covering all the major sports leagues, whether it be scores like the MLB or just news in the NHL, NFL, NBA scores as well. I'm Jake. That's Nick. And in today's MLB, we're going to just be recapping the weekend news, some unfortunate news that we'll get into shortly, and just the games that happened. Nick, obviously, big Yankees, Red Sox series this weekend. My Twins took on the red hot Athletics, and it's a great series. With that being said, first, before we get into, mostly the good parts of our teams winning, unfortunately, Mookie Betts suffered, I believe it was like a fractured hand of some sort against the Royals, and he doesn't need surgery, but the time return is still kind of in question. So kind of what this means for the Dodgers, in my opinion, that obviously sucks because you're losing arguably the MVP of the season for at least, this foreseeable future. But for now, if you're looking at just from baseball-wise, you're still first in the NL West by a mile, just kind of maintains stability. You still have a stacked roster. Just kind of, maintain ship until he comes back, because you guys still going to be first in the NL, are still going to be like, a top seed in the National League, maybe besides the Phillies, again, the 1 seed, but it's still going to be, still got the talented roster. And, that's why you create separation for injuries like this. And it sucks, but, injuries do happen, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he'll be all right and can get back as soon as possible and continue the way he was playing. But just kind of got to wait it out and hold the ship, as they say.
If there's one team that can afford to lose a guy like Mookie Betts, it's the Dodgers, because, you've got Ohtani, Freddie Freeman hitting right behind him. So as much of I hate to see it, because Mookie Betts was my favorite player on the Red Sox, and just he's such a great baseball player for anybody watching. It sucks to see, but I think they'll be better off than a lot of teams losing a guy like Mookie Betts. It'll still hurt their lineup, obviously, and their defense, because he's been playing great at shortstop. But, Ohtani's been red hot. I think he hit 2 home runs yesterday versus the Royals. So they're going to be in good hands.
Without waiting it out until he comes back. With that being said, obviously, just you hate to see injuries. The Acuna injury earlier on, and just the Mookie injury now. We're at the middle of the June, though, where people, we're going to see probably a lot more injuries now. We're over like 70 games and 80. People are going to start getting banged up. But we'll see. Hopefully, nothing too serious for any team the rest of the way. But with that being said, Nick, I don't know if there's any other place to start with this weekend besides Carlos Correa. Hit another 2 home runs in the first game against the Athletics, then went 2 for 4 in the second game because we had a doubleheader because of rain out. Royce Lewis homers in each game. Twins are feeling themselves, man. Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa just carry us to glory. Love myself some Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa back-to-back. Byron Buxton's hitting, Max Kepler's. Just, key pieces are stepping up. And I'm just loving what I'm seeing from the offense, the pitching. Kind of Chris Pack struggled yesterday, but, it's also your 5th starter. So can't complain too much. I saw a fun thing. The Twins won't beat a good team. They're not going to beat the Orioles. They're not going to beat the Yankees. They're not going to beat the Guardians. I think I saw something. They're like 0 for 14 against them. But they will beat the bad teams. So they're like, 40 and 16 against the bad teams, or teams that aren't like first place in the American or National League. So it's partially concerning, partially like, okay, I think the Twins are just a slightly above average team, but if you can get this version of Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis back, who knows then, maybe just those 2 guys can lead you anywhere. That's what I'm hoping.
You got to beat the bad teams. The good teams got to beat the bad teams. So that's always a good place to start. And maybe you can turn it around second half of the year where you do start beating those.
Yeah, I will say if Royce Lewis is playing, it's a completely different story because most of the time he was out for these series, besides I think like 2 games against the Yankees. But, either way, it's so exciting watching Royce Lewis healthy because I truly think if he ever stayed healthy for a full year, he would be an MVP. I think he's played 12 games and already has like seven home runs.
It's a bold take. MVP
Yeah.
talks with a full year. We'll have to see.
If you played a full season, I think he would be. And my Carlos Correa All-Star push is only looking more genius than ever. Hitting
He'll
around
probably
3.
make it. I don't think he'll start, but he'll probably make it.
He's hitting 310.
He's hitting over 300. Yep.
OPS really high. Now he's starting to hit for some pop. So you know what? Gotta show my boy Carlos some love. Always great defensively too. Arguably the best defensive shortstop in the game.
You think Royce Lewis will be in the home run derby?
No, I just don't want him. You know, knowing Royce Lewis's,
getting scared.
I don't know. I just want him. I want him resting, just getting ready for the second half push. Because wild card is up for grabs. We're only now a half game back of the Royals. So you know what? Let's just keep pushing. But you know what? We also got to give some credit to your Red Sox taking 2 out of 3 from the Yankees and following that or going away from that pattern of going to 500. They now are 2 games above 500 and are, I believe, the top team out of the wild card now.
Yeah, they should. They're like right behind the Twins, I believe. Because Twins are
3 games, so not right behind. Not right behind.
They're the closest team behind them. They're right behind. But it was a very surprising home series. You know, they played the 2 top teams in each league. They played the top team in the NL and the Phillies, and won that series, and then won the series against the Yankees. So it's pretty promising. But Red Sox fans, don't get your hopes up too soon. You know, you won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, but who knows? You might get swept going into Toronto tonight. So don't keep your hopes up. But the pitching kept up, and I was very
huge
surprised.
Credit to the Red Sox. Jalen Duran, I didn't really know much about him. A lot of Red Sox people hyped him up, but I kind of like
Jalen Duran. He's pushing for a All-Star.
Yeah, and you know what? This goes to show, like, you know, teams like the Twins, like, you know, Red Sox aren't that great of a team, and they're beating the Yankees, dominating them in some games. Like, it is possible to beat teams that are, you know, better than you. You just find your way in a 162 game season to beat a good team. So, you know, this is the blueprint right here. Just, you know, do something, please. I mean, we could only dream of being the Yankees 2 out of 3 times and the Phillies 2 out of 3 times. So credit to the Red Sox. Huge weekends, huge home trip it was for them, taking 2 out of 3 from the 2 best teams in baseball.
Yeah, I believe the Orioles also
want to give some love to the Blue Jays. They've been showing up recently.
The Blue Jays have, yeah. Red Sox got a series coming up against them, so they're going to be fighting for that 3rd place spot in the division.
Yeah, no. What's it called? Yeah, no. Huge credit to the Orioles. Big dubs. Giants also in that 13-6 game, I believe, had a 9-run inning in that game.
Yeah.
So Giants kind of went on a spree there. Randy Arozarena hit a home run yesterday, but awful year. Sorry that he was able to get something going, so good for him. And then, obviously, I didn't talk about it too much. I got it as a Twins fan. Shout out Jose Miranda, go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. So give us that second win. It's always tough in a doubleheader to win both, no matter how bad a team is, because, you know, it's a doubleheader. Everyone, you know, kind of gets worn out, especially when the Athletics put up 7 runs. But, you know, able to grind it out, get an off day today, and then get some rest before Tampa Bay comes to town. And then we have the Athletics this weekend. So I'm really hoping the Twins can capitalize, at least take 2 out of 3 from the Rays, 2 out of 3 from the Athletics, because, you know, you got to beat these bad teams to create separation for when you face the Phillies and stuff. But yeah, no, very overall good weekend for my boys. Great, probably an even better weekend for you guys, you know, because I would rather take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees than sweep the A's. Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset, not complaining, but you know, it is more impressive because, you know, eventually, I mean, we've already played the Yankees all our times, but when, you know, the Royals are going through a stretch right now where they can't, you know, where they're struggling against the Yankees and Dodgers, rightfully so. But, you got to take advantage of when you have an easier part of the schedule and the Royals have a tougher part. That's what they've been doing. So I'm not mad, but, good stuff from our teams this weekend. And obviously, like you talked about, big series coming up against the Blue Jays in Toronto for you guys starting tonight.
Yep. And I mean, it was kind of similar last year too, I remember, where Red Sox were in a pretty similar spot. They were like just hanging under that wild card spot. And then I'm pretty sure we got swept by the Blue Jays, and then it was downhill from there all year. So,
well, it's only fair if they want to stay that 500 mark, they lose 2 out of 3 here.
Hey, you can put your money on it, and you'd probably be playing the odds pretty well, because that's how it's been all year. I'm very surprised they're 2 games over 500 right now. I thought they were going to lose last night to go right back, but
no, one of my good friends went to the game against the Yankees on Saturday night. Absolutely lit, huge dubs, was chirping Yankees fans. So it was fun times, he said. And it's always good, no matter how great or bad one of the 2 teams are. Both teams Yankees are obviously really good. Red Sox are decent. So it's always going to be fun no matter what. Good rivalry. With that being said, big week coming up. I mean, every week is big now as you kind of try and create separation or just stay in the race. During the stretch of baseball, middle of June, just kind of random things happen. So it's an exciting time, though. Obviously, when your teams are winning, but when your teams are losing, like the Twins are always good for a nice, solid 7-game losing streak in a month. So we'll see. But, good vibes right now. Can't complain too much. But with that being said, anything else you want to talk about in the MLB before we sign off?
No, not really. A little movement that I've hopped on, you should hop on, and everybody watching should hop on, to kind of rub it in the MLB's face, though. All-Star voting is open. Vote Martin Maldonado to start in the All-Star game at catcher.
Who's he on?
He's on the White Sox. He is hitting .086. So people are kind of just they're starting.
The MLB would never let that happen.
Hey, if it's fan voting, so if enough people vote for him, I'm pretty sure he has to start. And
I wish that was the thing in the NBA, so they could have gone like Killian Hayes into the All-Star game.
Right. But I think the fans are pretty much doing it just so that the MLB finally stops doing fan voting, because last year Toronto fans kind of ruined the All-Star game by having their Toronto guys in, which it's a little unfair when you have a whole country for one team voting for like flag.
Who knows? Probably Bo Bichette gets another All-Star appearance.
Right.
Crap.
I haven't voted for him, but there's at least 4 guys in the American League that should make it over him. But vote Martin Maldonado. Get rid of the fan voting.
All right, sweet. So Martin Maldonado, for anyone listening.
You'll have to write him in because he's not on the actual thing.
Yeah. With that being said, though, on some real, actually vote Correa, Royce Lewis to the All-Star game, 2 best players in the American League.
Okay.
I'm Jake. I'm signing off. But make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.